much for joining us on World of Art right here on Ogtv. Every week we bring you the conversations around art, and for this quarter, World of Art is taking a different dimension. We are going from our studios to the studios of these artists, and we explore the advantages there are to visual art, helping you to understand art in our everyday lives, and also to let you know of the reason why we need to embrace art in our society today. My name is Miriam Usman. This program is brought to you by Prince Engineer Yemisi Shilon, legal practitioner, Africa's largest private art collector, grand donor and chairman of Council Yemisi Shilon Museum of Art, in collaboration with Society of Nigerian Artists. I will be introducing our guest on the program today. After this break, please stay with us. Tuned. Well, today we are at the Kampala market in Abeokuta, one of its kind where all the back-end work happens. And today we're opportune to join Kusi Olariwaju at, we're going to call this studio because, yes, this is where it all...
Up at our studio today. My name is Olariwaju Kusi Shuaib. I'm a textile artist and a painter, a visual painter by profession, but being textile aspect of me, my family picked that textile part of me from, and we studied that one in school, and joining together with my painting scope in school, everything has been a wow product for me. Doing my artistic expression based on yards, based on canvases. Generally, I do a lot of works that I use any surface to express myself.
We will get there. We will get there. I mean, coming here was just an eye-opener for me. You could
that provide you a shelter, something to wear that will showcase the kind of person you are to the world outside there. And this has to bring down to adire making in Abeokuta. This is a craft well known to Abeokuta, and it's all over everywhere now, all over the world now. Adire is known everywhere because this adire promotes our culture here in Abeokuta. And any adire you see has a meaning. Any line on adire has a meaning. There are so many forms and patterns we use in adire that has different meanings to anybody. And basically, we have some designs from the onset that, let's say, when adire generally started, these designs have deep meaning to the root where it is coming from.
So when you say meaning, what do you try?
What I mean by meaning is, if you see some forms in adire, there are some forms they call cassava leaf in adire. There are some forms you see, they call it talking drum in adire. But when you see design on people wearing it, you will not know that these designs are just mere lines, whereas they are not mere lines.
So are you saying when people want to get their clothes now, they should pay attention to the designs of this?
Sure. You can't just wear anything. You can't just wear anything you wear defines that person in which you are. So adire, where people around produce adire, but there's adire that has meaning to those that are doing it and those that are wearing it. So this thing has to do with processes. Starting from the material section where you get the materials you use, we also have different materials in adire.
What kind of materials?
We have the Guinea material, we have the polished cotton, we have the Georgette, we have chiffon, we have shaking material, we have crepe, we have viscose, we have linen. All these materials has to be 100% to work in adire, and we have silk as well. So all these materials, now when you get the material first, then now move to designing. Designing stage has to do with, we have the batiking section and we have the tie-dye section. Like today, where you are today is the batik section of adire. We use wax. Batik has to do with using wax to design on the fabric. That area you put wax, we desist dye from getting to that place, showing design at the end of the day before you de-wax it. So the adire aspect of it has to do with you using rope to tie clothes. Add the are. That means you tie clothes. before you now get it dyed. So those two aspects is tie-dye and batik. So after the designing, once the cloth passes through the tie-dye section or the batik section, next we now move to folding or the pre-dye. You know, we have some adire like what you're having on my background here. You have these adire of multicolor.
Not white.
Not white. This comes in red. So after we do this, we use wax to do this design on the red material. So then we now proceed to do the pre-dye of this. So putting it inside orange and green color.
So how is it that this is not mixing with this same design at
once,
the same time?
Once you have done these red designs first, that means you have resetted that place from getting dyed, getting to that place. Then you will not dye it inside the preferred dye. Then you will now be getting these colors. After then, you will now be putting wax into that areas you have touched with the color already. So after you put the wax on this aspect too, then you now proceed to the dyeing section. You dye it to the navy blue here, this dark navy blue here. That's areas where there's no wax. So that place will absorb dye.
I know that when it comes to adire, a lot of people are not aware of the differences. Yeah. In fact, some people go to the market and they see some for, let's say, 25,000 naira, and they see another for 5,000 naira. But they're all called adire. And you know, people just begin to ask, why is this one more expensive than the other? So what influences the prices of these apparels when they get to the market?
Actually, the designs influences the price of the market, of the adire in the market. The design. Let me give you a very example. This design you are seeing here, this is called alakete. This is called alakete in adire. This is a design, it's part of design that are gradually going into extinction. These are designs done by a particular set of people in their lineage. So they don't teach people outside their lineage this particular design. So it's only people in their family that they teach this. So after you have learned this one, before you can do a design of only one of these, you can spend a month designing just one. So that gives the material the value. So if I'm selling this, it's not the same price I will sell this, because if I handle this one, this is a batik work, I can handle this within 2 days or a day to finish all this work. But this work here, within a month, they're still tying it. So the value of this one usually goes higher than this. So the design affects the price of the adire. And basically in the market now, there is this saturation of this Chinese adire in the market. A lot of people are doing the craft a lot of wrong, even in normal adire. Generally, this Chinese made adire, people will call it Polish adire. It's just yes, it's just a tag, just tag that name of that adire to just call it adire, which is not adire. They imitated our designs, taking into machine and producing mass production. What you do here within 2 days, machine will produce 1,000 of this in 1 hour.
I think you're the best person to ask this now. When you want to buy an adire from the market, let's not talk about you who is probably aware. Someone who has no idea but loves what they see on the internet and wants to get, probably for him or herself or family member, how do they know the real one? Because I've seen a case where somebody spent a huge sum of money to buy adire, and ignorantly he was sold the inferior one and he wasn't even aware until he took this adire to the person he bought it for, and you know, was trying to emphasize that I got this really expensive, and the person was like, no, this is not even a good one. So how can one...
And it's not cotton. Once you touch it, you feel it's very hard, and it feel glossy. So when you touch the real adire, you know that this one is fabric, it's cotton, pure cotton. Basically, if you see a Chinese made adire, it's very, very glossy. So that's just different. So that's just different. And secondly, you know, people that are doing this business too, you have to be true to yourself. A lot of people, because they want to make money, they will tell you, because they know you can't afford the price they gave you, they will tell you this is adire, which is not. So we have to be truthful with anything we do. People that are into the business too have to make some impact based on that, to let people know the real adire.
All right. Well, we go on this break, and when we return, the conversation continues. Don't forget, we're live at the Kampala market here in Abeokuta, where we're bringing you the conversation directly from the source. What is involved in the production of Kampala or adire? You know these and many more when we return after this break. Please stay with us. staying tuned. You're still watching World of Art on Ogtv. Remember, this is where we bring you all the conversation when it has to do with visual art. This program is brought to you by Prince Engineer Yemisi Shillon, legal practitioner, Africa's largest private art collector, grand donor and chairman of Council Yemisi Shillon Museum of Art, in collaboration with Society of Nigerian Artists. What today we are joining Kushi Lanre today, and he's taking us through the procedures that is involved in the production of Kampala or Adire, as you may have it. And you've helped us establish a very good foundation for this conversation today. Before we went on that break, you tried to help us understand how to identify a good Adire and the Chinese-made Adire. Now, let's talk about the processes. I mean, we have some of your tools here, and we have finished work like this. I want you to walk us through it. What is involved in the production process of Adire or Kampala?
Let me just take it in one aspect. Let's talk about batik. Okay. Batik has to do with wax. Usage of wax in Adire, that has to do with batik. So we have in two processes. We have the stamping and the freehand. The freehand has to do with creativity. If you are not creative enough, you will not be able to go far in the business of doing Adire in freehand works. The pattern one has to do with templates. Like what I'm having here, this is a template of a pattern I cut. This one can be stamped, can be used by anybody that knows how to stamp the material. We put this one into wax, and then you start printing it on Adire, on your material. So secondly, we have it in different patterns that have not cut. I've cut this one. This one has not been cut yet. I'm still going to cut it today. And then I have in different forms, different designs. Even going down to names now, in town now you see people with customized names. Different names now in town. Even people doing birthday. You just Balogun at 40. Everybody wearing it. Not Ankara, it's Adire. So handmade. So now, let me now give you the process involved in batik making. Firstly, you have to get your wax. That wax has to do with all this candle used at home, but the one we use for Adire is a bit bigger than that. That's wax. You need your pot, you need your gas, you need your table, you need your platform. I mean a board for you to draw on. You need your fabric. Then you need your dye. After you need your dye, you need your hot water, the firewood, the pot, and everything you needed. So now, this is how you started. Desire a design in your mind that you want to draw, that you want to put on a fabric. Let's say I want to produce something that has to do with my tradition. Let me pick cowries as an example. I want to use it to create a design on a fabric. Straightforward. I visualize the fabric the way I want it to be. So I melt my wax inside the pot. It got the wax turned to liquid. Then I pick up my pencil. What I call pencil in Adire is a foam like this. We sharpen it into a pencil-like form. So then you begin to use it to touch that wax on the inside the pot. Begin to draw it on that fabric. After I have drawn, that wax will get dried on that fabric. So you now having a thick wax on that fabric, staying on that aspect.
A thick design.
Yes, on that fabric. After which you now produce your dyeing section. You have created the cowrie design on the fabric. You produce your dyeing section. After you dye, when you dye the clothes, then you now take that clothes, you rinse it inside water. After that, you take it to the dewaxing section. What I mean by dewaxing section is this: you put hot water inside a pot, 100% hot. So you now put that fabric you have done wax on, you put inside that hot water, the wax get melted off. So that means exposing that place you have done the design already. No, that design have been done before, just to protect dye from getting. So when you now melt it, you now be showing the whole space of that design. So you now remove that water, you get it rinsed up. If you want to start it, you start it, and you straight it outside. Then all we'll be seeing in that fabric is just a design of cowries of different forms and the color, the desired color.
How long does this take? Is it something you can do in a day?
It's something you can do in a day. In fact, if you are doing this stamp design on wax, you can produce this thing 60 pieces per day. If I want to do it, I can start 60 pieces per day. But if I'm doing this freehand, I may not be able to achieve 6 pieces in a day.
This is freehand.
This is freehand.
This is not done with this.
This is not done with this. This one freehand is, I used my hand to draw these circles. This design you are seeing there, I use my hand to draw this circle. This one I use my hand to, even this artwork here, everything you are seeing on this thing is done by my free hand work. But this one is a template. The template of a design that can be done by anybody. If I begin to stamp a cloth of this design now, I can make up to 60 per day. But if I'm to do this one now within a day, I can't do more than 6 if I want to achieve a good outcome. Because it takes time. Okay. Because you're doing small until you achieve the 5 yards.
And in most cases, this is most likely to be expensive.
It's expensive more than this. It's expensive more than this. Because even you have to design that design like of this nature that per day, you can only do more than 2 per day. Of this nature, that can only do more than 2 per day.
So for one who wants to probably learn this art, you know, how long will it take for someone to learn the art of designing batik? You mentioned there are in 2 processes. You've only walked us through the batik part of it. Yes. So for how long can one learn this?
Minimum of 6 months to learn batik production. Minimum of 6 months. And there's nothing like online training for Adire. Let me get that one clear today. A lot of people believe that they've seen it on Instagram that 2 weeks learning you have known Adire. There are so many things that in Nigeria you cannot know by writing. You can only know by practical, by demonstration. Coming to the field and see how it's been demonstrated. So you can know Adire teaching online, but when it comes to the real doing, the real making of it, you now begin to understand that that means I have not known this thing to this extent. So if you want to learn Adire, minimum of 6 months, batik of it, minimum of 6 months, because you have to do the creation of designs first. If you see a good artist that training taking you through that process, they have to teach you the designing section, how to create designs. Secondly, to how to know fabrics, how to know the good fabrics in the market. When you buy this one work for batik or not. After that, they begin to teach you how to mix colors.
Yes, very important.
You have to know the color chart, color with how it works, the third color, the primary color, the secondary color, as it works with each other, so that you can know how to combine colors together. After the combination of colors, then you now be produced to designing of the real fabric. And that design is where the real work is. You have to start with forms. Forms gradually from small forms to a tedious ones. Then for you now begin to practicalize it yourself. This form, am I getting it right or not? So then you now know, I'm being better now. But within that 6 months, not that you know it all, but you can be able to stand on your own to start something from yourself. So when you start, then you now begin to learn more to yourself, hardening it up to yourself that this one I'm not good at this. Let me. You can see that nowadays address everywhere. And what really caused that is this batik of a thing. Because people are bringing innovations to batik making daily on daily basis. Innovations are coming into batik on daily basis. But Adire, we have few designs that from that design you can get another design, which are nothing, the plating, the marbling, and the squeezing. Someone they call it squeezing. We have these Adire. This has to do with Adire. Okay. It has to do with Adire. This one here is batik. This one too has to do with Adire. This one down here, this is Adire.
It just has its own unique design.
Yes, that's the only unique design. But when it comes to creativity, to explore more, you have to work with batik. You know, you can create designs with batik. You can draw images. Yeah. You can combine forms. Like look at this now. This is a combination of tie-dye and batik work.
Okay.
So all these forms you are seeing on this thing, all the forms is the drawing of the batik works. But the dye you are seeing under, you'll be seeing yellow, golden, orange.
In this process, you do the
tie-dye first. Yes, you get it. Tie-dye first, then I begin to use my pencil to draw on this with wax. After that, I add the wax to get these forms.
In all of this, how long have you been doing this?
How long? I've been into this right from my cradle. No, as I said first, this is my family. This is my family job. Like we do say, we won't be missing Aruni. It's not how they born. It's not how they gave back to me into dye. But I was born where they are doing dye on a daily basis. That's my mommy's work. She's a lecturer in Federal College of Education, but that's what she does. So batik making.
It means you are the perfect person to ask how long. What are the challenges you encounter in the practice of this? You know, you are speaking for those who generally do this now. What are those challenges you encounter in doing your work?
Number one challenge we are having in this encounter we had with this Chinese made adire. No, they are in the market now. They don't. People are not really knowing the real adire and the China made one. That's a challenge. And there is this movement on that one to stop the China made adire. And I think and I pray that God will make it a success for them to ban it totally.
Who brings
the fabric? We import the fabric, the materials.
So as it is, it's just the talent you have.
Yes. You have the talent and all materials you need to do this one. You import it. You import it. So all these things are challenge. They are challenges to this making of adire.